You're stuck at home in quarantine. 5 o'clock. Why not have a drink with me?
TGIF, happy Friday. Hope you all are doing well and doing nice. We're going to continue our Friday tradition of an Amaro shot. Today I'm going to go back to basics with the OG 50-50 Amaro shot, the hard start. 50-50 Fernet Branca and Branca Menta. And that is going to get the evening going well. Looks like we've got Megan and Keith in the chat. Hello, hello. Hope you guys have had a nice Friday. Cheers. Good Friday to me. As you might have seen me post on Instagram, started the day, as I've done all week, having coffee on the patio in the backyard. Do the New York Times crossword puzzle, drink my coffee, hang out with the dogs, and it's just been an excellent way to start the week. And this week, Tuesday through Friday, have been really successful doing that. The other development this morning that I'm excited to report, actually, is I mentioned that a few nights ago I spotted a mouse. And so after unsuccessfully capturing said mouse, I called in the big guns with the mouse assassin, Helen. And she set some traps here in the kitchen. And long story short, we caught 2 mice last night, which is great news. We'll set some more tonight just to make sure there aren't any more. That's the scary thing. You never know however many there are. Could be dozens of them. God, I hope not. We haven't seen like a lot of mouse poop or anything, so I'm hopeful that we really nip this in the bud, and saw them early on, and they haven't had time to procreate yet or anything like that. But anyway, that's not the real story, and the reason I'm telling this. So because we set the traps out in sort of right in the floor where it's accessible by our dogs, and we are baiting the mouse with Helen's patented formula of 1 kibble of dog food with some peanut butter, very effective. We don't want the dogs to go and set off the trap for obvious reasons. Nor do we want the dogs to find like a dead mouse on the floor before we find it, because that could get really ugly. So anyway, we set them up in the kitchen, and then we closed the door, meaning that we made the dogs sleep with us in the basement downstairs in our bedroom. Which was fine. It wasn't a big deal for them. They didn't annoy us or anything. But what did happen is it seems to have broken their habit of getting up at 6:05 a.m. and barking from the kitchen, which is great news. This is what I've been stressing about what to do about this for more than a week. They slept in until there was one time, probably around 6:30, where Dixie kind of was like, "Hey, you guys up?" and kind of was around the bed, but she gave up and just went back to bed. And then it wasn't until I got up at 7:30, and they were both just sleeping in the laundry room. And then they were like, "Oh, you're up, yay!" And then we went and had breakfast and stuff. So this could be a really great development for my sleep, basically adding on, 45 minutes to an hour of sleep, allowing me to get up at, 7:15 instead of 6:15, which would be amazing. They just wanted to cuddle. I agree, Megan. They just wanted to hang out with us in the bedroom. So that's good news. The other thing we did today was we set up the other day at Costco, I bought a big boy, sort of freestanding, like a floor standing air conditioner that we're hopeful will be able to just cool our basically entire first floor. And so we unpacked that and set that up today. And so far it seems really effective, at least for the immediate room that it's in. It cools it down really fast, and we need to figure out exactly how to get the airflow to work in the right way so that it makes its way mostly into our living room, which is basically just has a doorway. So we need to get the air to go into that door throughout there. But regardless, it's having a positive effect, just so it's starting to heat up a little bit in the spring. And that's about it. Getting ready for the weekend. Don't really have any plans. Looking forward to it though. And it should be quite nice. And so I came across on Reddit a few different posts and recipes for a Mai Tai variation that uses Campari. And as we look forward to Negroni Week, which starts Monday, mark it on your calendars, folks, I'm going to need to pause this real quick. My dogs are going crazy, and it's time for dinner. So they're just gonna keep barking if I don't let them in. So let's do a quick, here we can get a quick shot. I'll take you here down to the door. Let's see who's outside the door. Who is it? Who is it? Oh, it's the dogs. So here they go. They're very excited. It's their dinner time. Oh, I'm losing my connection. Here we go, dogs. Let's get your bowls out and ready to go. Excuse me. Bowl, bowl. And we'll grab some dog food. All right, and let's go. Watch out. Sit. Stay. Stay. Don't eat yet. No. Stay. Stay. Up. Okay. Yay. It's puppy dinner time. All right. Well, that should shut them up for now. Anyway, I kept seeing these recipes for. We're back. Kept seeing these recipes for basically a Campari added Mai Tai. And there's this one recipe in particular that's been going around a bunch from this recipe, this bar Dram in Brooklyn. I don't know it. But anyway, it seems cool and people seem to like it. So we're going to try it out. And it's basically it replaces most of the rum, a little bit more than half of the rum with Campari. And then you just kind of ditch the simple syrup. And maybe up the orgeat a little bit than what I would usually use. So that's the recipe. Let's get to it and make it. Aaron in the chat. How you doing, Aaron? Hope you're well. Cutting up some of my Costco limes. The other thing I feel like about when you buy stuff at Costco is everything, like obviously like you get mayonnaise, it's in a huge jar at Costco. You get limes, and there's a lot of limes in it. But not only is the quantity always big, I feel like the size is big. I've had to stop buying onions at Costco because they're just like huge onions. If they were normal sized onions, I'd blow through them. But I don't want an onion that's like this big. What am I gonna do with that? And I feel like a recipe says a large onion. This is like 2 large onions. So that's always something that I'm wary of when it comes to Costco. So as I do my lime juice, I'm gonna hand squeeze 2 halves that I'm going to use later as garnishes, and the rest of them I will use my juicer. So the dogs seem to be done with their dinner. Hope they enjoyed it. They are very food driven, so I'm sure that they did. I don't even really know of any, like last week I had a movie that was coming out on Friday that we watched on Netflix that we were looking forward to, and then the big golf tournament on Sunday, which was apparently had the best ratings of any cable golf event in history, so that's pretty cool. But I feel like I don't have anything this weekend that there's really to like look forward to, so that's kind of a bummer. But that's fine. Sometimes it's nice to just take it easy. All right. So what are the specs here? So I'm going to take 1 ounce of lime juice. I'm going to take 1/2 ounce of dry curacao. Now, my good friend and friend of the show, Zach Abramson, was talking about he and Athena having their version of a bitter Mai Tai, which was with like a full ounce of Angostura bitters, which is awesome, and I've heard of that version also. We made the Trinidad Sour the other night, which was with a whole ounce of Angostura bitters, and it was like so good, it just like blew me away. But this is going to be a Campari version and get the bitterness from the Campari. All right, so we're going to do 3/4 ounce of orgeat. And then we're going to be using the super funky Smith & Cross Jamaican rum that fans of tiki are just crazy about. And so I'm going to do 3/4 of an ounce of the Smith & Cross, and then a full 1.5 ounces, so twice the amount of that of the Campari. So this is a really Campari forward, Campari heavy recipe, which, hey, I have no complaints about. Lovely. I'm having some second thoughts. I'm going to up it to a full ounce of the rum, because it is a Mai Tai after all. All right. Made a mess. I'm going to grab my sponge and just clean up my workspace a tiny bit because it stresses me out. Smells good. Oh, I smell that funky rum. I love it. All right, so I'm going to grab my ice. I'm going to use a few just full cubes, and then I'm going to give 4 cubes or so just like a nice gentle crush, just so that they're broken up into 5 or 6 pieces each. I don't want to pulverize them. I don't want like pea size, but I do want some nice cracked ice here. That's it. Nice cracked ice, and it's time to shake. Did a Peloton ride earlier today. It was like an Asian Heritage Month ride, which was pretty cool. All the music was from like Asian American artists, so that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that it was Asian Heritage Month. But this is an awesome color from the Campari. This is going to be so cool, and I'm just going to open pour it. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, I'm pumped about this. I'm going to come around and grab a straw with which to serve this. And then I'm going to put in my cheat a little bit. Floated my lime wedge. And there we have this beautiful, bitter Mai Tai. How awesome is that? That is beautiful. Beautiful. Snap a pic. Whew, love it. All right. And let's give it a taste. Wow, the color is great. Campari, like a lot of, so good. It's you get the like funky rum, but then you get that bitter Campari flavor. If you don't like Campari, I don't think you would like this. It's definitely Campari forward, really strong. A full 1.5 ounces of it in this drink, but so tasty, so good. The bitter Mai Tai, strongly recommend it. Like a lot of spirits makers, Amaro in particular, and liqueurs and whatnot, they're very tight-fisted with their recipes and sharing it and whatnot. But people are pretty sure that Campari is now vegan, but for a long time they got this beautiful red color of the Campari from some type of beetle that they crush up and get the red flavor from. But they're pretty sure that with the amount that they're producing now, they couldn't possibly sustain that with beetles. And so it is now artificially colored, which is also why a lot of people like the, I think I've talked about the Gran Classico, which is a Campari-like bitter liqueur, which is also quite good, but it's just naturally, it doesn't have any added ingredients to color it. So, ooh, Megan's got the Carmine, also used in some foods. Love it. Look at that, food scientist for the win. Appreciate that, Megan. Thank you for that contribution. So I will come back to this. I will drink these all summer long. This is great, and it's wetting my whistle for Negroni Week coming up, starting on Monday. And don't forget, Sunday we're going to celebrate Negroni Week Eve with the predecessor to the Negroni, the Americano. So get your sweet vermouth and Campari and club soda ready to go for that. Otherwise, hope everybody has a fantastic evening, weekend, last days of May, and as we go into June next week, we are trying to figure out what these next phases of quarantine are and what they mean, and I don't know what the future has for us or to bring. The other update actually that I have is, I think I mentioned this last week, but especially over the last 2 days, I was working on a COVID-19 lesson for the 8th graders that I write some curriculum for. And we have been learning all about exponential functions, and it seemed silly that we were doing this whole unit on exponential functions and didn't touch on or talk about at all the fact that the biggest news story in the world right now, the thing that is having a humongous impact on everybody's lives across the globe, is itself an example of exponential growth, and that policymakers are making decisions based on how many people currently have it, what the infection rate is, and that is all just plugged into an exponential function to model what's going to happen. So anyway, built a lesson around that, submitted that, got some good feedback on it, and that was all very exciting. So anyway, that's all I got. Hope you all are well.
It's 5 o'clock. Why not have a drink with me?
Have a fantastic weekend. Good night.